Sagittarius. Two faces of betrayal. The truth behind the trap. Sagittarius, my love, tonight I speak to the fire that lives within you. The same fire that has always burned for truth, for freedom, for light that cannot be contained. You may not understand why lately the air around you feels heavier, why the laughter of some people suddenly sounds hollow, or why your heart flinches when certain faces approach. Let me tell you, it's not your imagination. The universe shows me clearly that what you're sensing is real. There are two energies near you, two souls disguised as friends or companions, who are weaving threads of deceit around your path. But before fear settles in your chest, remember this. No trap can hold a spirit that walks in divine awareness. What is being revealed to you now is not a curse. It is a rite of passage. You are awakening to what has been hidden in plain sight. The first energy around you hides behind a smile too polished, too rehearsed. This person moves with the grace of someone who has learned how to charm, to adapt, to mirror your enthusiasm and reflect your light back to you, but without ever creating their own. They echo your dreams, they say what you want to hear, and yet behind every word lies calculation. They are like a soft breeze carrying hidden smoke, cloaking intention under compliments. Sagittarius, this person's gift is imitation, not authenticity. They sense your openness, your love for connection, and they feed on it, turning your generosity into their shield. They fear your independence because it means they cannot own you. That's why they disguise admiration as loyalty while quietly moving pieces that may expose you or manipulate your truth. The second energy is quieter, more analytical, more patient. You might even think of them as rational, composed, mature. They rarely speak against you directly, but their silence hides strategy. This is the observer, the one who studies you, memorizes your rhythms, your habits, your weaknesses. They are not driven by emotion. They are driven by control. They watch you take steps forward and wait for the moment when your guard drops. They are not the storm that comes with thunder. They are the fog that blinds you until you lose direction. And when confusion comes, that's when they strike, using logic, doubt, or guilt as their weapon. But listen, Sagittarius, none of this is punishment. You are not being attacked because you are weak. You are being challenged because your fire is growing, and it threatens those who cannot stand in the same light. For too long you have been the one who keeps the peace, who avoids conflict, who believes in giving second chances because you see the divine potential in everyone. But now the universe asks you to use that same vision not for others but for yourself. To see your own worth, your own sacred mission, and to understand that not everyone is meant to walk beside you into your next chapter. What hurts you now will later be your compass. You are meant to see behind masks because your soul has matured beyond illusion. The discomfort you feel when something just doesn't sit right is not paranoia. It's prophecy. It is your intuition sharpening like an arrow on the bow of destiny. Sagittarius, the archer within you is being reawakened. You are learning again how to aim not with your eyes, but with your soul. Every time your heart tightens in the presence of deceit, it's your spirit whispering. Truth stands before you, even if it hurts. You have entered a season of revelation. The illusions you once entertained out of kindness are dissolving. People who once seemed harmless begin to show contradictions, gaps in their words, inconsistencies in their energy. Their smiles no longer resonate with warmth but with unease. You are not imagining it. You are simply perceiving beyond the surface. This is your natural gift, Sagittarius. You are ruled by Jupiter, the planet of higher truth and divine law. When others hide behind pretenses, you feel it instantly because your soul vibrates to a higher code of honesty. And that vibration is now flushing out what doesn't belong. Still, this process is not without pain. You may feel betrayed, even foolish for trusting. But remember, betrayal is not failure. It is initiation. The universe is training your discernment through contrast. Just as gold is refined in fire, your wisdom is being purified through deception. You cannot be the spiritual warrior you are meant to be without seeing what darkness looks like up close. These two people are not your enemies. They are mirrors reflecting the boundaries you must now build. Without their interference, you would still be walking half asleep, believing that kindness alone protects you. But now, Sagittarius, you are learning the sacred balance between compassion and clarity. And so the voice of your higher self speaks. Do not chase explanation. Do not beg for honesty from dishonest hearts. What is true will prove itself without argument. You are not required to justify your intuition to anyone. The more you explain, the more energy you leak into confusion. Silence is your protection. Observation is your power. You owe no one access to your light until they have earned it through consistency. There is something else the universe wants you to see. These traps are not only made of lies or manipulation, they are emotional tests. They are meant to see if you have truly learned the lesson of self-trust. In the past, you would have given the benefit of the doubt, you would have softened, you would have forgiven too soon. But not now. You are different. You are older in soul years. Your light no longer bends to please. This is not arrogance. It is alignment. The more you respect your intuition, the more protection you activate around you. Sagittarius, your energy field is sacred fire. Those who try to deceive you will eventually burn their own fingers. You don't have to fight or expose anyone. The truth always reveals itself in divine time. The universe is simply asking you to pause, to breathe, and to look twice before you say yes to anything that feels rushed or emotionally loaded. Pressure is the favorite weapon of manipulators. But your calm is stronger than their urgency. As this revelation unfolds, repeat this decree of power, not as a ritual but as a declaration of sovereignty. I, Sagittarius, release myself from all traps and activate the light of divine clarity around me. No deception can enter where truth lives. Let those words echo through your heart until they become a vibration that shields your path. You are not losing people, you are being liberated from confusion. Every exposure, every discomfort, every sudden realization is part of your ascension. The universe is pruning your circle so that only the loyal, the real, the honest remain. From now on, every connection you allow must honor your truth, not dim it. This is only the beginning, Sagittarius. The light is rising, and the shadows can no longer hide. The journey continues in the next part, where you will discover how manipulation operates through illusion, and how your intuition will dismantle every lie before it can reach your heart. Stay open, stay awake, and remember, truth is never the enemy. It is your liberation in disguise. The web of manipulation. Sagittarius, as we move deeper into the message, I need you to breathe and listen not with your mind but with your intuition. The battlefield before you is not made of swords or words. It's woven from emotions, timing, and illusion. You are walking through a field of tests disguised as ordinary moments, conversations that sound innocent, smiles that feel comforting, offers that seem generous. But each carries an undertone, a vibration slightly off-key. That faint discord is the language of manipulation. The universe now calls you to become fluent in it, to see what once hid behind the veil of good intentions. Manipulation, Sagittarius, doesn't always roar. It whispers. It dresses itself in politeness, in sympathy, in fake urgency. The first energy around you, the charming one, plays the emotional game. They will come to you with a tone of nostalgia, weaving words like, "I've missed our connection," "I've thought about the old times," or, "You're the only one who ever understood me." They are not trying to reconnect. They are trying to reopen a door that your spirit already closed. Their goal is not harmony, it's access. They crave the warmth of your fire because they lost their own. And yet, they approach as though offering comfort, when in truth they are searching for control. You will notice it in the timing. They reappear when you are vulnerable, when you're questioning yourself, when your defenses are low. That is not coincidence. That is calculation. The second energy operates differently. They don't tug at your heartstrings. They appeal to your logic, to your Sagittarian desire for growth and progress. They speak of opportunities, a business, a collaboration, a shortcut to expansion. They know you are a seeker, that your soul burns for evolution and new horizons. They will speak of fast results and mutual benefit, and yet something inside you will tighten. You will feel that subtle dissonance between the words and the energy behind them. That feeling is sacred. It is the whisper of your guardian fire saying, "Something here doesn't align." Do not dismiss it, Sagittarius. Your intuition has never lied. Only your hope that others were as honest as you has led you astray. Notice how both forms of manipulation share the same seed: urgency. They pressure you to act fast, to decide before you have time to feel. That is the classic tool of deceit, to rush your intuition before it can speak. But you, Archer of Light, are learning the art of stillness. You don't need to rush toward any arrow that's not yours. You don't need to accept every invitation that knocks at your door. Your time is sacred and so is your energy. Let the world wait while you listen inwardly. True opportunities never demand haste. Only traps do. There will be moments when guilt is used against you. Manipulators know that your heart is big and your conscience strong. They will twist that strength into a weakness, making you feel responsible for their emotions, their failures, their loneliness. They will say, "You changed," as if growth were a crime. They will accuse you of distance, of pride, of not caring. But Sagittarius, listen to the truth beneath the noise. You didn't abandon anyone. You simply stopped abandoning yourself. And that shift terrifies those who benefited from your old self, the one who gave endlessly, explained constantly, and carried burdens that weren't theirs. This new version of you refuses to play the savior. And those who only loved you for your usefulness can't stand that. The universe asks you to observe, not react. Every time you stay silent instead of defending yourself, you reclaim energy. Every time you say no without explanation, you draw a boundary. Every time you walk away without resentment, you strengthen your spiritual armor. This is not cruelty, it is mastery. You are learning the sacred art of emotional sovereignty. Sagittarius, remember, manipulation thrives in confusion. It feeds on self-doubt. The moment you begin questioning your intuition, you hand over your power. But when you choose clarity, even if it means solitude, manipulation collapses. The game only works if you participate. You have the right to pause, to reflect, to choose peace over pressure. When someone demands urgency, answer with silence. When someone guilt-trips you, answer with presence. Nothing disarms a manipulator faster than calm. Let's talk about energy signals because your body is now your compass. When something or someone approaches you with hidden intention, your system reacts before your mind does. You might feel your stomach twist, your breathing tighten, or your heart accelerate for no apparent reason. That is your body translating spiritual information. Your higher self speaks through sensation, not logic. So from now on, whenever you sense dissonance, stop explaining it away. Say to yourself, "This feeling is my truth." Even if others call you dramatic or distrustful, stand firm. Sagittarius, your intuition is a sacred contract between you and the divine. No one else has the right to interpret it for you. Your spiritual fire does not burn only to illuminate. It also burns to reveal. Lies cannot hide in your light anymore. When deceit stands before truth, it trembles. That's why you might notice that people who once surrounded you begin to withdraw. Some grow distant, others grow defensive. Don't chase them. Their departure is your confirmation. The universe is using your frequency as a filter. Those who cannot match your vibration simply fall away. It's not rejection, it's recalibration. You are being aligned with souls who mirror your integrity, not your wounds. Times you'll feel isolated. You'll wonder why honesty feels like loneliness. But in truth, you are not alone. You are being recalibrated to a higher circle of resonance. Your guides, your ancestors, your cosmic allies are near. They are clearing interference so you can hear your intuition louder than ever before. In the silence that follows the storm, you will discover a peace so deep that no manipulation can reach it. Sagittarius, your lesson in this chapter is discernment. The ability to love without being blind, to forgive without surrendering your boundaries, to trust without silencing your intuition. You can still have compassion for those who deceive you, but compassion doesn't mean access. You can understand their pain without letting them back in. The universe isn't asking you to build walls. It's asking you to build gates. Gates that open only for truth. Before this part closes, I want you to affirm this with the strength of your spirit. I, Sagittarius, no longer rush into illusions. I choose patience over pressure, truth over comfort, peace over approval. My intuition is my shield, and my discernment is my sword. Repeat it in your heart until it becomes rhythm, until it becomes reality. Because every time you honor your intuition, you reclaim another piece of your power. And with that power, you are rewriting your destiny. Stay with me, Sagittarius, for the next chapter reveals the fire of awakening. The moment your soul transforms betrayal into wisdom and manipulation into mastery. You are not being tested to break, you are being trained to lead. The archer's bow is drawn, and the next arrow you release will carry the truth that sets you completely free. The fire of awakening. Sagittarius, the energy shifts now. What began as confusion and discomfort is turning into clarity. Sharp, radiant, undeniable. The trap that once surrounded you has done something the deceivers never expected. It has awakened you. You are no longer the seeker who wanders blindly through promises. You have become the witness who sees through them. The very pain meant to weaken you has purified your fire. Every disappointment, every manipulation, every tear shed in disbelief has burned away the illusion of safety you once held. What remains is the truth. Fierce, unfiltered, and liberating. There comes a moment in every Sagittarian journey when the flame within refuses to bow to falsehood any longer. That moment, my love, is now. When you said, enough. Even if your voice trembled, the universe heard it like thunder. That single act of dignity, of refusing to play small or silent, created a ripple across dimensions. You might not have seen it, but the spiritual world celebrated it. Your guides, your ancestors, every soul who ever protected you stood up in reverence. Because in that moment, you didn't just defend yourself. You defended the truth itself. And truth, Sagittarius, is sacred fire. It doesn't destroy to harm. It destroys to clear the path for renewal. For so long you believed that peace came from avoiding conflict. But now you see that true peace requires confrontation, not with others but with illusion. You are not meant to be endlessly tolerant of energies that drain you. You are meant to be discerning, to know when love turns into attachment, when compassion becomes self-betrayal. The awakening you are living is not gentle. It is volcanic. It cracks open every false foundation you once stood on. But beneath the rubble lies something extraordinary. Your authentic self, unmasked and unstoppable. Sagittarius, I see the image of your soul as a bow drawn tight, energy coiled and ready. Betrayal was the force that pulled it back. Tension built through every injustice you endured. But now that bow releases. The arrow flies straight, luminous, unstoppable, toward a horizon where truth reigns. That is your destiny. You were never meant to live half asleep among pretenders. You were born to awaken others simply by embodying integrity. Even your silence now carries power. When you choose not to react to deceit, you send out a signal that truth no longer needs defense. It simply exists undeniable, like light itself. And yes, there are still moments when anger flickers inside you. Not just anger at others but at yourself for not seeing sooner. Let that go, Sagittarius. You couldn't have known before you learned. You were not naive, you were compassionate. You believed in potential because that's who you are, a soul of vision. But this awakening marks the end of giving the benefit of the doubt at your own expense. From now on, your compassion will be guided by wisdom, not guilt. You can still forgive, but forgiveness doesn't mean returning. Forgiveness is a release, not a reunion. Your ancestors whisper, do not fight shadows, child of fire. Simply rise and the darkness will flee. That is your lesson now. You don't need revenge. You don't need to prove who was wrong. The energy of truth itself will balance the scales. Life has a way of revealing every mask at the perfect time. When that moment comes, you won't need to say a word. Your peace will be the loudest answer. Sagittarius, as this awakening deepens, you may feel emotional exhaustion, like your soul is shedding layers. That is exactly what's happening. You're outgrowing false identities, the helper, the fixer, the pleaser. Each time you say no without guilt, another layer falls away. Each time you speak your truth calmly, your frequency rises. You are entering the vibration of coherence where what you feel, say, and do are finally in harmony. This is the frequency of freedom, your natural habitat. Remember, freedom isn't just about travel or adventure. It's an inner state where your choices are no longer driven by fear. You don't need to escape anything anymore. Because you carry truth within. The traps others tried to build around you dissolve in the presence of your authenticity. It's like watching fog vanish under sunlight. Nothing external can manipulate you when your inner compass points unwaveringly to truth. Your guides show me an image. A fire burning at the center of a dark forest. Around it stand spirits of light. Ancestors, guardians, cosmic teachers. They watch as you step forward, your face illuminated, your voice steady. They hand you a torch not to fight but to lead. Because what you have endured wasn't random suffering. It was initiation into mastery. You now understand deception so deeply that no one can ever blindfold you again. You see through intention like glass. And that vision, Sagittarius, is not just for you. It's meant to guide others. In the near future, someone will come to you for guidance, drawn by your calm in chaos. You will notice it. How naturally you become the lighthouse for others lost in their own storms. Not because you preach, but because you radiate truth. People will sense it. They will feel safe near you, though they won't understand why. That's because your energy has shifted from reaction to radiance. You are no longer seeking validation. You are emitting alignment. Sagittarius, this is the essence of your awakening. Realizing that your worth was never up for negotiation. You were never meant to dim so others could shine. Your joy, your laughter, your truth. They are not too much. They are medicine. The world has told you to be humble in ways that meant, be smaller. But divine humility isn't shrinking. It's shining without arrogance. Knowing your light serves something greater. You are that balance now, powerful yet kind, fierce yet compassionate, discerning yet forgiving. Close your eyes, Sagittarius. Feel the warmth in your chest, the steady rhythm of your heart. That's the sound of alignment. Whisper this into your being. I am the fire that reveals truth. I do not chase light. I am light. My strength is calm. My wisdom is earned. My path is sacred. Let those words wrap around your soul like armor made of grace. You have passed through deception and emerged with clarity. You have turned manipulation into mastery. You have alchemized betrayal into wisdom. But the journey is not done. The fire within you will soon be tested again. Not by enemies, but by ghosts of the past that come wearing new faces. In the next part, we will step into that mirror. You will see how the same hands that once wounded you might return, pretending to heal. And you will learn how to meet them not with anger, but with the unshakable calm of one who has seen the truth and will never again forget it. The mirror and the return. Sagittarius, as your light grows brighter, something inevitable begins to happen. The past starts to circle back. Those who once had power over you feel the shift even from afar. They sense that the energy has changed, that the bow of your spirit is no longer aimed toward them, and it unsettles them deeply. When the archer no longer needs the crowd grows desperate to reclaim the archer's gaze. That is where you are now, beloved Sagittarius. At the edge of closure, where the ghosts of yesterday appear disguised as redemption. But listen closely, redemption and repetition often wear the same face until you look them straight in the eyes. The universe shows me two figures returning, the same energies you've learned to identify, only now cloaked in different attire. The first comes dressed in nostalgia. Their voice is soft, their timing perfect. They speak of the past as if it were a sacred memory, of laughter shared, of roads once traveled together. They might whisper, I owe you an apology, or I can't stop thinking about what we lost. For a moment your heart may tremble, remembering the good parts. Sagittarius, this is the first trap of the mirror. What they offer is not reconciliation, it's permission to repeat the cycle. They don't seek to heal what was broken. They seek to regain entry into your peace. Behind their apology lives a quiet intention, to reclaim the influence they once had. But you have changed, haven't you? Your intuition now vibrates like sacred thunder every time something feels off. Listen to it. It will tell you that healing doesn't beg to be believed. It proves itself through consistent action, not poetic words. The second returns through practicality. They do not come with tears but with logic. They might speak of opportunity, of mutual benefit, of working together just like before. They will use phrases like, let's be smart about this, or it's just business. But Sagittarius, you will feel the same dissonance under the surface, that faint energy of pressure masquerading as professionalism. They appeal to your intellect, to your instinct to expand, to build. Yet what they truly seek is not partnership. It's control through convenience. And you, seeker of truth, must now recognize that not every door to expansion is meant to be opened. Some doors lead to beautiful gardens. Others hide traps of dependency. What's important to understand is that these encounters are not punishments. They are reflections. The universe sends the same energies in new forms to see if you have learned. This is your soul's exam, not your downfall. Every time you say no to an old pattern, a new timeline opens before you. Every time you trust your unease over someone's persuasion, you step closer to liberation. The people who return now are teachers, not enemies. They mirror your old self, the one who needed validation, who mistook attention for affection, who confused intensity with intimacy. But you are not that person anymore. You no longer chase closure. You create it. You no longer crave approval, you honor your own. Deep inside, your inner child stirs. That younger version of you, the one who once tolerated too much to keep love, now looks up at you with wide, honest eyes. It whispers, "Please don't abandon me again." And you won't. You can feel it, can't you? The fierce tenderness of self-protection that comes not from fear but from love. You've learned that saying no doesn't make you cruel. It makes you whole. Each boundary you set now is a promise to the one you used to be. A vow that you will never again trade your peace for company. And yet there's beauty even in this test. As these old energies return, someone else watches quietly. I see a younger soul. A person who observes you from a distance, learning silently through your example. They might never tell you, but you've become their guide. They've watched you choose integrity over comfort, truth over illusion. Your courage is rewriting the blueprint of what strength looks like for them. Without realizing it, you've become a lighthouse for souls still lost in emotional storms. That's the higher purpose of your healing. It was never just about you. When a Sagittarius evolves, they expand consciousness for everyone they touch. You are teaching others that freedom isn't recklessness, it's coherence. Your ancestors, the keepers of wisdom, are proud. They gather near every time you resist the urge to explain yourself to someone who no longer deserves that access. They celebrate when you choose silence over argument, calm over chaos. You are not running from confrontation anymore, you're mastering it. You don't need to fight every lie. Your truth burns long after falsehood has turned to ash. The archer doesn't shoot at every shadow. They save their arrow for what truly matters. That's you now, deliberate, centered, sovereign. Sagittarius, look at how far you've come. You once confused forgiveness with returning, but now you know that forgiveness is the act of setting yourself free, not the act of reopening doors. The universe doesn't want you to be hardened. It wants you to be wise. Wisdom doesn't demand that you distrust everyone. It simply teaches you to trust yourself first. That's the golden balance you're entering. The ability to remain open-hearted without being unguarded. I see in your energy a quiet transformation. The fire that once burned chaotically is now steady, disciplined. You've gone from wildfire to sacred flame, powerful enough to warm but too wise to destroy. That flame is your discernment, your inner compass. It flickers every time something doesn't align, guiding you toward authenticity. And in that guidance lies peace, the kind that no apology or offer can replace. Sagittarius, before we close this part, place your hand over your heart and affirm this truth. I choose coherence over chaos. I welcome no one who asks me to shrink. I forgive, but I do not return. My peace is sacred, and my intuition leads me home. Say it as a declaration, not a defense. You are no longer reacting, you are responding from power. The next time someone from the past reaches for you, you'll see not a savior, but a mirror. You'll thank them silently for the lesson and walk away with grace. That is not pride, that is ascension. But your journey is not yet complete, Sagittarius. The path of the archer always ends with sovereignty. In the final chapter, you will understand how every test, every loss, and every revelation has been preparing you for your ultimate freedom. The moment when you no longer seek validation from the world, because you have become your own source of truth. The path ahead glows with golden light. Let us walk into it together. The path of sovereignty. Sagittarius, as dawn rises over the horizon of your destiny, the air around you feels lighter. Not because the world has changed, but because you have. The old heaviness that once pressed on your chest begins to dissolve, and in its place stands a radiant calm. The calm of someone who has faced the storm and chosen to walk out without bitterness. This, my love, is sovereignty. Not the loud claim of control, but the quiet mastery of self. You no longer need to explain, justify, or chase. You simply know. You have reclaimed your inner kingdom, and no one outside of you can ever rule it again. The universe whispers now, and its voice is clear. Not every goodbye was a loss. Many were divine interventions. Every person who drifted away, every door that closed, every silence that once hurt, was the universe clearing your path so that your expansion could finally unfold. Sagittarius, you are ruled by Jupiter, the planet of wisdom, growth, and cosmic justice. This means that no betrayal ever remains as wound. It always transforms into wisdom. What others meant for harm has become the fire that purified your vision. What they tried to take from you has become the strength that grounds you. You are beginning to see life with sacred eyes now. The people who once deceived you were never villains in your story, they were catalysts. They forced you to choose yourself, to awaken the dormant power you'd long ignored. Before you sought truth through others. Now you live as truth itself. That's the shift, Sagittarius. From seeker to embodiment. You no longer ask, who can I trust? Because you have become the living answer. I trust myself. And the universe responds to this frequency. You'll start noticing synchronicities. Doors opening where none existed, opportunities emerging without force, people showing up who match your integrity. These are not coincidences. They are cosmic confirmations. When you align with truth, the entire fabric of reality bends to honor you. You've entered the era of energetic reciprocity. No more chasing what depletes you. No more begging for respect. No more settling for half-light. The world now mirrors the vibration you hold within. Sagittarius, someone new is approaching your orbit. This energy is different. It doesn't come with flattery or urgency. It feels clean, steady, peaceful. This person doesn't want to rescue or possess you. They simply wish to walk beside you. You'll recognize them instantly, not by intensity but by ease. They'll see your independence not as a threat but as beauty. They won't dim your fire, they'll honor it. But this new energy can only stay if you remain loyal to yourself. For love that is pure can only exist where self-betrayal no longer lives. You've learned this truth through pain. And now it will serve as your compass forever. As this new chapter begins, your soul carries the marks of every battle fought. Not as scars but as sigils of power. You've mastered discernment. You've learned to distinguish between attention and care, between apology and accountability, between need and love. And because of that, your energy is no longer accessible to the unhealed. Those who approach with manipulation will find no entry point. Those who approach with truth will feel peace in your presence. This is your divine reward, energetic sovereignty. There's one last conversation the universe wants you to have, Sagittarius. It's not with others but with yourself. It's time to look into your reflection and say, I forgive the version of me who trusted too much, who gave too much, who stayed too long. I honor that version because without their heart, I would not have found my wisdom. This is the closing of karmic cycles. Forgiveness doesn't erase memory. It releases attachment. It says, you no longer own my energy. That's when the soul becomes weightless again. Your path ahead glows with purpose. You'll notice that your voice changes, softer, yet stronger. Your boundaries no longer sound defensive. They sound divine. You no longer fear solitude because you have discovered companionship within your own soul. The world will feel different. Not because it's kinder, but because you've stopped seeking approval within it. You are no longer a wanderer searching for meaning. You are meaning in motion. And now, Sagittarius, the universe asks you to make one final vow, not to anyone else but to yourself. I will never again negotiate my peace for love. I will never again abandon my truth for belonging. I will never again dim my fire so others feel safe in their shadows. I am light, I am freedom, I am truth. Repeat this vow until it settles into your heartbeat, because this is your rebirth. The archer stands tall, bow lowered, not in defeat but in understanding. You have learned that power is not domination but alignment. You've realized that the most profound strength is quiet, the kind that doesn't need to prove, only to be. As your guides surround you, their light expands around your aura like golden fire. They applaud you silently, proud of how you turned pain into prophecy. You are no longer trapped in survival. You have entered creation. From now on, your words carry weight, your presence brings calm, and your intuition acts as a compass leading you to miracles. You have become your own temple, sacred, untouchable, free. And so, Sagittarius, the journey ends where it began, in truth. What once felt like a trap was the universe's invitation to liberation. What once broke your heart was the chisel shaping your spirit. You have passed every test. You have remembered who you are. Not a wanderer lost in stars, but a star that guides the wandering. Your fire no longer burns to destroy, it burns to illuminate. Walk forward now with your head high and your soul unburdened. The universe walks with you in every step, whispering one final truth into your ear. You are not being guided to safety. You are being guided to sovereignty. And that, Sagittarius, is the destiny you were always meant to claim.